Hi everybody, it's Claire with another art journal video for the ScrapFX design team. So today I'm going to share with you how I've created a zine or Zine. I never really know how to pronounce it. Mini book, shall we call it, from a paper bag which was from Superdry. Lots of supermarkets in the UK now sell these kind of Kraft style paper bags, and so I have a little collection growing of bags and things like this that are perfect for creating this kind of mini book from one sheet of paper. So you can see here I've just cut one of the panels off, and then I'm going to carefully remove the handle as well. So you have to be a little bit careful here. These are glued on quite well, obviously, because the bags need to be quite strong. So be careful not to lift too much of the paper off when you're removing the handle. And then I just fold it in half long ways. And you can use a bone folder if you want to, just to get those creases a bit sharper. And then in half again the other way, so vertically and horizontally, and then again in half. So you're basically folding it into 8 panels. And then you're going to cut a slit there across the centre, and it creates this kind of little concertina book. Now this is a really quick video of this. There are videos of how to do this, to fold a book from one sheet of paper. I think I might even have one on my video channel. You can see there it's so simple. And then I'm just marking where the pages meet each other, because I decided before I went any further I wanted to try and glue the pages down so that it would sit nicely. This did become quite tricky when it came to refolding the book, and as you will see I somehow managed to miss off one of the pages. I don't understand how I did that. This one down on the right hand corner got completely missed out. So then just be super careful when you fold it up that you don't end up gluing the wrong panels together, as I nearly did there. Look, you can see, nearly went completely wrong. And then I realised that I've missed that one, like how on earth. So just went in and popped a bit of tape just on that corner there. It was enough to just glue it in place, and you can see that worked really nicely. So at that point there, if you wanted to, you could then grab a sewing machine and just sew round the edges of each page if you wanted that kind of look with your mini book. That would work also. So I decided I'd go for a monochrome sort of theme with this book, and I started off by just sweeping a bit of white paint onto the centre of all of my pages. White gesso would work just as well, it would work perfectly, but white paint was what was at hand, and so I just wanted to sweep a bit of that onto the centre of my page. Just to kind of get rid of a little bit of the Kraft expanse that was there. But I loved the kind of lettering that was showing through, so I didn't get rid of that. In fact, I didn't do anything extra with that. I've literally just gone straight in with the white paint and added that to all of my pages. And obviously I did dry the pages before flipping them over and working on the next ones so they wouldn't stick together. This is a fabulous new collage sheet from ScrapFX, which is called Graffiti Text Collage. You can see I was writing it down there. I have to keep a list of everything that I use so that I can remember what the names are. I love anything that has writing on it to use in my mixed media art, and this is perfect. I love the style of the lettering on this. So this is one of the new products for this month. From ScrapFX, and I'm sticking this in place using some gel medium, some matte medium, and I'm just using a card to just scrape that into place. I really do need to get myself some new brushes that I can apply my matte medium with, but this worked perfectly well. So I'm just adding some of this onto all of my pages. I'm kind of at the edges of where my white paint is, because I feel it will work quite well there. Yeah, and because when it's on top of the white, it means that the black lettering will show up really well. But it just kind of works really well, I think, with the style of the paper that's underneath, the fact that it's got a bit of lettering showing on it too. This is another brand new stencil this is going to be one of my favourites, along with the Vision stencil. This one is called the Graffiti Words stencil. So there is a bit of a graffiti theme going on in ScrapFX this month, and this stencil is no exception. So I'm just using some black paint through here, and I'm adding it kind of at the edges of my white paint. So you can see it kind of helps to blend that white paint out a little bit, and you can see a little bit of that text through the stencil. Actually, it's more of a mask, isn't it, really, than a stencil? But anyway, another of my favourites. So I do that on all the pages. So at the moment, everything that I do, I'm repeating on all the pages. The reason I'm doing that is just so that it kind of all works together in a cohesive way, and that the book all feels like it belongs together. And obviously that doesn't always matter. Sometimes you don't want your little mini book to flow and all be the same on every page, but in this instance I did. So you can see I'm just repeating that process all the way through all of my pages. And then once that was dry, I started to add in some of the figures from the mini confetti sisters designed by Michelle Logan. I went for the black and white ones initially because they worked quite well with the monochrome theme of my little book. These pieces that I'm painting now with black paint are the Kraft botanicals. These are also from ScrapFX, and I decided to paint them black because I felt that the Kraft, because it was the same as the background, they would get a bit lost. And actually they do work quite well in black because I end up going in and outlining them using a Signo Uniball, which helps pop them out from the background even more. So once I'd decided where they were going to go, I'm using my fine applicator nozzle bottle with my clear glue, which is, the brand is Collage. I think it's Collage. It is. It's spelled COLLALL. It's an absolutely fantastic glue. It does what glue's supposed to do, and it sticks really well. It dries brilliantly, and it's perfect through the fine applicator tip on small pieces like this. You're not faffing about with a glue stick and managing to stick your pieces of collage inadvertently to something you're not meaning to. So then once it was dry, I went in with my Signo Uniball in white and just carefully outlined those leaves. The reason for that was because I just wanted to kind of pop it out from the background a little bit more, and I felt that this kind of worked quite nicely with what was already going on my page. So next I went in with my signature dots, adding some of those at the bottom of those images, and using a Posca pen and my Signo Uniball too. And then I added some black splatters as well onto the page. And then once they were dry, it was time to add some words onto there too. So I also used a chipboard tag words. There's a couple of sets, and I've used a bit of a mishmash of the two sets. I've stuck the tag onto some white paper so that it would stand out from the background. And then I have stamped my quote using some little letter stamps onto some card, and then that's going to get stuck onto the page too. Okay, so then onto the next page. Again, I've stuck another one of those images from the mini confetti sisters onto the page, and the chipboard tag word onto a piece of paper. So I stapled that in place. I'm just making sure the back of the staples are down so they don't catch me. again, you can see a very similar theme to how the first page was created, doing the same sort of thing, but this is going to have a different quote. And then again, I've used one of the Kraft botanicals. I've painted it black. I'm gluing it in place. That one really stands out well, doesn't it, against the white background. And then again, I'm going to stamp my quote using the little alphabet stamps onto white card, cut it out and stick that in place too. So then on this page, I am just working out what I want to do here. And I decided I would use these 3 images and kind of create like a zigzag book from these images. So I cut the 3 of them out without cutting in between at the shoulders. Can you see what I'm doing here? And I'm just cutting across. And then I am going to fold them in a zigzag fashion so that I can use them as a little fold out element in my book. So far in the book I've had all the black and white figures, and then I'm going to have these 3 fold out ones at the end, using my double-sided tape gun. This is one of my favourite supplies. I love it. It's so handy and quick for doing jobs like this. So I'm going to stick that in place like that, and then you can see how those are going to sit over the top. And then I decided that I would echo the colours and the pattern that's on one of the sisters. So I'm using Posca pens in some of the colours that I've pulled out, and just doing some spots on this page. So the rest of the book has been quite monochrome, and then there's this splash of colour on the last page here. So then once they were dry, I'm just going in with a black gel pen and just doing some scribbly circles on top of those Posca colours, and just to help pop those out and to sort of make it feel like it marries up with the images, particularly that end one on the right hand side with its headscarf. So those have worked quite well. And then some splatters, of course, you can't not do splatters. And then I think, yep, a quote, again using my little stamps onto some card and this applicator bottle, just to stick that quote in place. So that is pretty much the inside of the book sorted. So then for the outside, I had 1 figure left, and I've cut it in half and put half and half on either side. And then I found a quote on Graffiti Peeps on the Wild set, and it felt perfect for this book. So I've used that as my front page with a heart that I had for a download for one of my courses. And there we go, that's the finished little book. Zine, no clue. But anyway, it's a mini book using lots and lots of lovely new ScrapFX products. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this video of me creating this little book. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.